it's a reminder of just how fragile the security environment is in the region. I mean, if we think back to 2019, we had major attacks on tankers in the Straits of Hormuz. We had that attack on September 14th that knocked out half of Saudi Arabia's oil output in 2019, and the risk remains ever present. And so the question is, are we going to see, in the coming days and weeks, actual attacks that result in loss of oil output? That's what we'd be looking for in terms of the oil market. Do you actually see physical supplies disruption? But the ability of these groups to do significant damage should not be underestimated.
What do you think Iran is trying to prove here? What do they want? What are they looking to get? What kind of a message are they signaling to President Biden?
Well, it's really interesting when we think about the Houthis. There's always been this issue of command and control. Yes, the Iranians supply them with significant military hardware, with drones, ballistic missile technology. But there's a question about, do they actually control the leadership of the Houthis? But as you mentioned earlier, we've also had these Iranian-backed militant groups in Iraq targeting U.S. bases for holding U.S. troops. And so this region is becoming a lot more volatile. We're going into potentially new nuclear negotiations, and I think it's putting pressure on the Biden administration to get a deal done quickly. But the risk really is that if you don't get some type of off-ramp with Iran, you could actually get, military action in the region, because Saudi Arabia is not going to sit back indefinitely while they have their facilities attacked. And then you have to raise the issue of the Israelis as well. Are they going to sit back in the region indefinitely as Iran continues to make progress on their nuclear program and gets ever closer to having a bomb? So I actually think you're in a situation where the Biden administration is really being put on the clock to try to get an off-ramp, or you're looking at far more escalation in the region.
Do you think all this points to higher crude oil prices, Halima?
Well, I think it's certainly in a market now which is growing tighter, and where we have the OPEC resolve to keep supply constrained, I think geopolitics becomes more important to the oil market. If we think back to 2019, we saw major attacks, but yet the oil market shrugged it off amid ample supply. In a tightening market, I think geopolitics matters much more.
Yeah, and we've already seen increased demand as things starts to open up a little bit. Production has not come back online. And on that last OPEC meeting, Prince Abdulaziz, the Saudi energy minister, said that the era of drill, baby, drill is over. And the Occidental CEO told us the same thing. You've got these geopolitical attacks, and it doesn't sound like U.S. production is going to come roaring back like it tends to do every time prices move higher, Halima.
Well, think about 2019. Again, we lost half of Saudi Arabia's oil output temporarily, but we had ample supply because of U.S. production. And that's why Donald Trump essentially said, I don't have to do much to protect these facilities. Now, in a situation where U.S. production remains much more constrained, you have OPEC producers much more back in the driver's seat in the oil market. If you were to lose oil supplies now, I think President Biden would have to, at a minimum, pick up the phone and call Saudi Arabia and ask for more oil, because U.S. gas prices are rising at home. And at some point, it also becomes a political issue for him.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.